head coach of the Boston Celtics. Once again with us, Joe Mazzulla. Joe, good afternoon.
Well, what's going on?
Joe, how was Wembanyama?
Yeah. Next question.
Did you guys see Joe get in his post-game press conference last night? He walked in and says, "Do not ask me about Wembanyama. No questions, okay?" It was great. I loved it, Joe.
Yeah, I don't like when the focus should be on our team, the Celtics, what we're doing, and our guys getting the credit, and people should be wowing over the way our guys play on both ends of the floor. So I don't like when people ask me questions that takes away from our guys.
Love it. Speaking of your guys, you don't have Porzingis, no Derek White last night, and you're starting to get the production. I know the scoring's been up there now for Drew Holiday, but he's really starting to become a part of this, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see Drew find his rhythm. And I think people kind of take for granted how long it takes to find a certain rhythm, on both ends of the floor. When you play one way and for a certain team for so long, you have to break some of those habits. You got to learn new habits. And, we have a creative way on playing on both ends of the floor. And he's starting to really find that rhythm there. And, like you said, missing two guys just kind of shows the character of our locker room that regardless of who's in, who's out, we have a chance to win every single night. And I think that's the strength of our team.
When you say finding rhythm as it relates to one player, do you think you could apply that to your entire team?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to find a balance of maintaining certain things over the course of 82 games and also finding new ways to be good. And so I think we're right in that. We're very open-minded to that right now. We got to bring it every single night from an effort standpoint. But at the same time, we got to find different ways to win and different things to work on so that we could, kind of have a bunch of tools to go to.
You guys are lights out at home, 20-0, just dominant. But, there are some third quarter issues from an analytical standpoint, the way you guys study it. Is there anything that's more relevant than something else that you can work on third quarter wise when you guys come out after halftime?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think sometimes we don't get the same pace that we do in the first quarter or sometimes in the second quarter, so our pace slows down a little bit. Because our pace slows down, sometimes our shot quality slows down. And we got to fight to play just as fast in the third quarter as we did in the first and second quarter and keep that momentum. So when we get out and play fast, and playing fast just doesn't mean transition, running up and down and shooting the ball quickly. It's, recognizing the advantage, getting to our sets a little bit faster, and just not easing back into the third quarter. So I think that's something we could work on.
Talking with Celtics head coach Joe Mazzulla. We just played your answer that you did give on Jerod Mayo getting hired as the new head coach of the Patriots. You are the youngest head coach in the NBA. He's going to be the youngest head coach in the NFL. What are the advantages of being a younger coach? Everyone talks about how it could be a drawback, but for you, what have you found is the advantage of being a younger coach?
Yeah, I don't see it as much as a drawback. I think it's a great advantage. One, you have the ability for just creative thinking, for new ideas. You start to see the game a different way. You start to manage relationships differently. Your communication styles are differently, and you're still young enough to where you can build that connection with your guys on stuff other than basketball. Not that other coaches can't, but I think it's a little bit easier to do and work for. And so, I think that's kind of the space that we find ourselves in as a team, is the ability to think outside the box, be creative, try different stuff, and, really find unique ways to build relationships. So I'm really excited for him. Like I said, I've gotten to watch him work a few times, and the way he owns the room and the way he builds relationships with his guys, I think it was awesome to see.
In talking to you so many times and also hearing Jerod Mayo talk about it, it feels like the younger generation feels it's important to be students of leadership, if that sounds right. Always working on that part of it and learning how to not just better yourself as a leader, but help other people develop. Does that feel true to you, that younger coaches are more in touch with that these days?
I don't know if we're more in touch with that. I think just leadership has changed over the course of years, and if you take a look at all facts of life, not outside of sports and anything, leadership used to be kind of more, do as I say, not as I do, so to speak. And it was, this is the coach and what he says goes. And I think leadership has kind of evolved in many different facets, where it's about listening, it's about empathy, it's about giving guys a space to be who they are. At the same time, you do have to be authoritative and stand for things and have a high standard. And so I think it's just, over the course of society and over the course of time, what leadership looks like has changed. And, it's about understanding that, I think relationship management, leadership management, those things are just as, if not more important than the X's and O's.
Zoe hit on Drew Holiday kind of stepping up yesterday with 22 points offensively and getting more of an opportunity with those guys out. I'm wondering, going back
to... You can't get 22 points defensively, can you?
No, you can't. That's a good point. That's
Go
a
at
good
him,
point.
Joe. Go after him, Joe. Go after him.
Get on him.
This is a 10-day contract, so yeah, please take it easy on
McCone,
me.
it's almost up.
So 2008, Doc Rivers has a famous story about taking all those guys on a duck boat and
Jesus,
getting them to
McCone,
buy
get to
in.
the question.
I'm going to get there. I'm going to land
Today,
the plane.
McCone.
I'm going to land the plane.
Really have him for like 3 more minutes.
All right, so here's my question. Did you have one of those conversations with all these guys? Because Drew Holiday, offensively, has shown in the past that he is capable of a lot, and it feels like he's done a really good job of trying to fit in this year. Did you have one of those conversations like those guys did back in 2008 to start this season?
Not really. I mean, I think the conversation is always flowing, and try to have a 10 to 25-second conversation with them every day about something that's important. And, when themes come up that are more important, you have a little bit of a longer conversation. So I think the conversation never stops between what I think each guy's role is, how I think we can empower them, and where they can have a positive impact on the team. So we're constantly talking about that. And Drew's very open-minded, and he's very clear-minded about where his role is and how he can impact the team. And really all the guys on our team are really growing at not being defined by scoring. So we talk a lot about the plays that lead to winning other than scoring, and scoring is obviously something that you have to do. But when you have a group of guys that aren't defined by just one thing, it allows you to get better.
How's Jordan Walsh coming along for you? I know you got some boards in there, but we talk about the stars all the time. How's Jordan Walsh doing?
So it was good. He got Defensive Player of the Game in Maine, and that was the proudest I was of him, because it's important when you go from college to coming into the NBA, and sometimes you're asked to do things that you're not used to, or you're asked to do things that you're uncomfortable doing, and you got to trust that. It's hard to trust that you look at your box score in Maine and you only got 5 shot attempts, but you guarded the best player of the entire game. You had 9 rebounds, you had 6 assists, and for our organization, that's kind of what success and greatness looks like most of the time. So as he's growing, he's learning to trust, what it means to develop as a player, and he's really buying into it. So I was happy for him.
All right, Joe. Well, it's great to talk to you. What else is going on? Anything new outside of hoops? Restaurants?
No, we got a big UFC fight coming up on Saturday. Who you guys got?
I'm not the biggest UFC F1, like F1 racing. Yeah, UFC. I'm not big in those, Joe. Octagon. I don't like
Gran Turismo?
Pardon me?
Did you watch Gran Turismo?
I did not.
Is it good?
Great movie.
Is it real? They say it's based on a true story. Is that bullcrap, or is that real?
I mean, I didn't do that ton of research into it, so I'm assuming that it is. But they had this race at the end called Le Mans 24, where they race for 24 hours straight. Have you heard of that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's intense. I want to study that. Just 3 drivers, you can't go more than 8 hours, and you just drive all night long.
How do you get a
Can you imagine you play an NBA game for 24 straight hours?
Have you ever seen the movie on Shelby? Le Mans is a big part of that, and obviously Carroll Shelby and Shelby Company, and how they made the Shelby Mustangs and all of that.
No.
Oh, Matt Damon.
I am trying to get us to play a basketball game for 24 straight hours.
How are you gonna do that? When?
That'd be crazy, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, I'd die probably by end of the first quarter. Well, I mean, how would you end it though? Right? 6 hours? Jesus.
Yeah.
You just can't play more than a couple hours. You have a whole team.
Yeah,
so
you got to swap people in and out. That's what you got to do. Ford v. Ferrari was the movie with Matt Damon and Christian Bale. And it's about how Shelby came to be and how it was all about Le Mans and racing for 24 hours.
I haven't seen that one yet.
You might like that one, too.
I'll check that one out.
Yeah. And I'll check out Gran Turismo.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah, you got to.
Okay. We can talk about it soon.
Yeah.
And we also need another song from you, by the way. T-Bone's telling me. Need another song.
Okay, I'll text one to Zoe.
All right. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah.
See you, buddy.
All right,
All right.
See you
later.
Bye.